What's going on, you wonderful people on the internet? So how's everybody today? I hope everyone's doing great. It's quite warm here, so I'm having a bit of time keeping the axolotls cold because they prefer cold water, and then keeping the Bettas warm because they like the warm water. It's a juggling act. It's an absolute juggling act, but needs must. So in today's video, I wanted to touch base on a little project I've been working on just recently. So some of you picked up on my Instagram post that I recently divided a 25 litre tank into two. So obviously I keep Bettas, so Betta splendens, which it is Bettas, not Betas. Not Betas. Listen, if it's good enough for Richard Branson, that's not the guy. David Attenborough, that's the one, not Richard Branson. He's nothing to do with animals. If anything, he probably causes more harm than good with his aeroplanes and his crap internet. Talking about David Attenborough, if it's good enough for him, attach clip here.
These are Siamese fighting fish, or to give them their scientific name, Betta splendens, and they come in a great variety of ravishing colours.
Then it's good enough for me, straight from the horse's mouth. You heard it here first. So I wanted to share how I divided a 25 litre tank into two to house two males in the same tank. There's a bit of speculation about dividing tanks. A lot of people are not very keen on the idea, but I think if you do it correctly, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. I mean, I had this 25 litre tank. It came to a place where it needed resealing. I needed to re-silicone it to make it a bit more of a cleaner finish. It started to leak water. I bought it that way. It started to show signs of causing a few issues, so I decided to get another tank, switch all my fish into a bigger tank for the community tank that I've got, and then I decided to reseal this tank and then divided it into two because I had no use really for it just being a single tank, a 25 litre. So I scratched my head for a minute and I thought to myself, I'll use a divider and I'll make it into a new home for two of my male Bettas, which I did. So I know there's loads of videos on the internet already on how to do this. I mean, a lot of people use egg crates. I couldn't find that anywhere. I went to numerous crafts shops. I went to DIY places, nowhere had it, or no one had anything even similar that would even work in place of. So I had to scratch my head a little bit. I had to look around and ended up using something which might surprise you. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I did it. I hope you like today's video. And if you do, please be sure to hit the like button. And if you're feeling really generous, hit the subscribe button too, because that would be an awful lot to me. I'm nearly at 100 subscribers. So thank you all very much if you've done that already. So let's get cracking with today's video. So here's my divided tank. As you can see, we have Jax over this side. Don't be alarmed by his tail. He's been part of the breeding program this season, and he took a little bit of a battering. It's already grown back quite nicely. It's been treated accordingly, and here is Duck. Very happy. He's one of the new guys I got for my birthday from my good friends. So yeah, there's the setup. As you can see, it's nicely divided down the middle. It's got one filter and one heater. I've been keeping an eye on the water parameters on both sides of the tank, and it's working absolutely fine. I'll show you how I did this in today's video. And as you can see, it looks pretty snazzy. I'm very happy with it. If anything, it's one of the best projects I've worked on so far. I've got loads of ideas in my head, but this has turned out to be the one that I've enjoyed the most as of right now. So yeah, let's show you how I did this. So originally I was looking at ideas that people had already used on the internet. So I was looking for egg crate, I was looking for some sort of craft mesh to maybe use. Obviously if you use that sort of stuff, you've got the problem of the fish still being able to see each other through the mesh. You've got to be careful on that aspect. I was considering using egg crate and then having it sandwiched together almost, and down the centre I was going to run some filter media or something of a similar value like a sponge, just to dampen down the visual and obviously keep the water flow moving along quite nicely. In the end, I couldn't find anything suitable enough, not even online really. I can only buy things in crazy amounts. I don't need a little piece. I mean, I was originally going to divide that tank into three. I did that originally, and I looked at it and I thought, I'm not happy with it. The fish would have been fine in there. There'd have been ample amount of space for each particular Betta, but I just wasn't very happy with it. So I decided to remove one of the dividers and make it into a tank of two dividers. And this is how I did it. So rather than using mesh, I use this. It's an acrylic chopping board. I picked it from a local hardware store. Not hard store, they're not very hard. I'll probably knock them all out, to be honest. Hardware store. So this is basically an acrylic chopping board. It has already been cooked. Like I said, I did originally intend to separate the tank into 3. And then basically what I did is I measured it to size, because obviously depending on the size of your tank is depending on how big a piece you're going to need. And then I decided to saw it, sand it, and then obviously in the piece that's in the tank, drill air holes in it. I didn't go too crazy, but I did plenty of air holes along. I tried to do it all nice and pretty to begin with, but it was an absolute pain in the backside. So I ended up just going freehand, just like zzz, having fun with it. And there's plenty of air holes in it. Well, not air holes, but water flow holes, and it's working a charm. I was kind of concerned that when I very first popped it in, and I fill one side up, it might kind of glug, 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 and then slowly go down to fill the other side up, which would have kind of alerted me that there's not enough water flow. Thankfully, it didn't do that. It worked a charm. Now, obviously, once you've got that piece in, you can either silicone that in, but I wouldn't do that straight away, just in case, for whatever reason, it doesn't work out. You can also pick these up from the internet, cheap and cheerful. Thankfully, my local pet store had some of these in, so I could get them. Little suction cup dividers. Yes, they're not the prettiest of things, but I find you didn't need to use them on both sides. Because mine was quite a snug fit, I just used it on one side, so they just slide in, like so. There we go. So they slide in like so, and then they just stick on. I put it the wrong way around. I put the suction cups the wrong way around. Shoot me now. So basically, the suction cups the wrong way around on this because I already use this for another thing I'll show you in a moment. But basically, you plop it on, or you pop it on, stick it to the back of your tank, and then to make it look pretty, you can buy those paper spines, which I'll show you. And then basically I just pop them on here and made it look pretty. And if you want to get really fancy, you can even cut them quite nicely at an angle, so they absolutely fit perfect, like a picture frame almost around it, like a trim. And it just looks so much more professional. So on that note, let me show you the plastic spines that I am referring to. So here's the plastic binder spines I was telling you about. These were an absolute nightmare to find. I couldn't believe how difficult these were. I obviously didn't want to order them online, I needed them pretty much straight away. And I couldn't find them anywhere. I went to loads of craft shops and everything, and people were like, no, I don't know what you're on about. I even considered buying the books themselves with these on them. Basically, it's what you get when you're in college and stuff that keeps all your papers together, like a book almost. Now, they're really good because they're really versatile. They're quite bendy considering. And I just basically put them on around the frame, around the divider to provide a sort of frame. If you want to get really fancy, you can even cut them at an angle, so when they meet at the top, so let's say that's on the frame, when it meets, it fits lovely and it looks picturesque, perfect. Yeah, these are what I'm talking about. They're only £1 to pick up. I assume not so very much in America either, probably $1 if that. But yeah, just pick up a bag of these. I just think it gives the divider a more of a professional finish, and it's something that I like to do, make it look all snazzy and stuff. And then to make life easier, I've gone for a nice simple filter with a outlet tube on it. I've drilled a hole, which obviously Jack quite approves of, and then it feeds through both sides, making life a lot simpler, a lot easier. And then realistically, you only need one filter. Obviously, you want to spot clean any dirt that you see in the tank as and when you go. I use a turkey baster for that. I do that with all my tanks anyway, so you want to use them. And then from there, really, it's just a case of keeping an eye on both sides of the tank to make sure the water is obviously giving a nice reading on both sides with the water test kit. Because you don't want one side filling up with ammonia and all that other fun stuff, and then one side being filter clean, because obviously the filter box sits on one side and not both. So do keep an eye on that. Thankfully for me, it's worked. I've managed to cycle the tank lovely, and both sides of the tank will read the same, give the same parameters on both sides, so it just makes my life a lot easier. One heater, again, does the trick. Got a thermometer in that side, and I've got a digital one on this side. Again, perfectly keeping the temperature as well. So there you have it, a nice simple way to divide a potential Betta tank, or anything else you might need to divide a tank for. The only thing I will say on this is there's a lot of speculation about if you can keep male and females in the same water, because the rumour has it that if you're keeping male Betta alongside a female, even if they can't see each other, the female will still pick up on the male's hormones within the water, where they basically swell up and they have real trouble absorbing the eggs again, which is not nice, very uncomfortable, and can actually kill them. So do be careful if you're going to do this and keep a male and a female together. Again, each to their own. Some people do, I particularly wouldn't. That's just how I would do things, or not. Obviously the chopping boards weren't expensive. I think they were a pound a pop. I got 2 of them. I ended up only using just the 1 of them, but which is kind of good because I can use this one for an example, and I can also use it as a divider to stop them from seeing each other, because I keep most of my tanks together, and it works as the perfect divider, so I can keep the community tank from the male tank. See, not just a hairy face, not just a hairy face. So there you have it, that's today's video wrapped up in a nutshell. I do hope you enjoyed it. Don't worry, I've had a few people message me about what these are in the background. Some of you will probably pick up on the Breaking Bad, the chicken shop reference, and then the other one, it's Evil Within. It's an Xbox game, so I've not murdered anybody, I promise. Don't call the police, and if you do, my name's not Frankie, it's Gerald. So that wraps up today's video. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. I know it's only a small mountain, but I'm nearly at 100 subscribers. And thank you all so much for doing so. It's been really, really good. I've really enjoyed this YouTube thing. And I'm hoping to make it a bigger part of Frankie's Aquatics. So please be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And also hit the like button, because it's just a nice thing to do, isn't it? It's like smiling at a stranger. I'm going to tell you, when you're a kid, not to talk to strangers. I don't suggest you talk to strangers, because strangers are strange, aren't they? Let's be honest. But you should smile. Share a little bit of happiness with your fellow humans out there. Just smile. Just nicely, like, how you doing? Just be nice. Be nice to each other. Costs nothing. Costs nothing. That sums today's video up. Thank you very much for checking us out, as always. And until next time, ta-ta for now.